The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey, everybody. Good morning and afternoon to the people in California. And welcome to today's webinar, Solar for Nonprofits, the Untapped Market. We're right nearing 2 o'clock right now. So going to get started here in just a couple minutes, but I just want to say thanks for being here with Energy Toolbase and our co-host, Collective Sun, for our webinar. I'll introduce myself first. I'm Tracy, and I handle the marketing for Energy Toolbase, and I'm going to be the so-called moderator for today's webinar. And as we wait for people to join in, I'm just going to go over a few housekeeping items for you. Just so you know, today's webinar, we are recording it, so after the webinar ends, we're going to send everybody a link who registered. And just in case, someone couldn't make it, or if you wanted to send it to your employees or coworkers or anything like that. And we're also going to upload it to Energy Toolbase's YouTube and our Vimeo pages. And we are going to be doing Q&A, but that will take place at the end of the webinar. So as you have questions throughout, if you want to just chat them into the chat box down there, and we'll get those answered at the end of the webinar. So we'll just wait a couple minutes for some people to get on here. But as I mentioned before, this is the Solar for Nonprofits, the Untapped Market webinar. As you can see today's agenda on your screen, our panelists include Scott D'Ambrosio. He's our Vice President of Sales and Integration at Energy Toolbase. And for those of you who don't know who Energy Toolbase is, I'll give a quick description if you're not familiar with us. We're an industry-leading software platform, and we specialize in modeling and proposing the economics of solar and storage projects. We currently have about 1,600 users across all 50 states. We're also joined by Todd Blueshell. He is the Vice President of Marketing, Sales, and Business Development at Collective Sun. Todd's going to be talking about how Collective Sun will reduce an installer's nonprofit bid by 15%, how the remaining 85% gets financed, and their crowdlending platform and solar power agreements. And then Scott, he's going to take over, and he's going to model multiple financing transactions within our platform, the Energy Toolbase platform, and show you Collective Sun's crowdlending and solar power agreements next to a cash purchase and a PPA. So with that, we got quite a few people on, so I'm going to turn things over to Todd. So Todd, take it away.
Great. Well, hello, and thank you, Tracy, for that kind introduction. I'd also like to thank Adam Gerzer real quickly, the COO of Energy Toolbase, for his support of the nonprofit sector. Scott D'Ambrosio, who will be demonstrating how Collective Sun's ability to reduce any installer's bid by 15% can be used within Energy Toolbase. Matt Brennan, Collective Sun's VP of Operations, is also here, and he'll be helping me answer questions at the end of this presentation during the Q&A session. As Tracy mentioned, the title of today's webinar is Solar for Nonprofits, the Untapped Market. My hope is by the end of this webinar, all of the installers listening will realize there's an incredible opportunity to create a new revenue stream for your company by simply adding a nonprofit tab to your website if there isn't one there already. Today, I'm going to first explain what the nonprofit market is. Next, we'll take a look at who Collective Sun is. And then I'll quickly answer questions including how does Collective Sun reduce any installer's bid by 15%? How does the remaining 85% get financed? What is Collective Sun's proprietary crowdlending platform? What is Collective Sun's step-by-step process? And finally, what is Collective Sun's proprietary solar power agreement? Question number one, what is the nonprofit market? To speed things up throughout this presentation, please note that whenever I use the term nonprofits, I'm referring to all tax-exempt organizations, of which there are more than 1.5 million in America, including churches, synagogues, schools, transitional housing, museums, food banks, HOAs, municipalities, etc. So now that we understand what the nonprofit market is, let's take a look at who Collective Sun is and how we help nonprofits. Well, Collective Sun is the only company that exclusively helps nonprofits fund solar projects nationwide. Our team of experts understand the financing challenges faced by nonprofits better than anyone else, and our proprietary funding models were designed to minimize time and effort while guaranteeing the least expensive funding options available. Having worked exclusively with nonprofits since 2011, we've learned nonprofits basically need three things to get solar. First, nonprofits need a process that's simple and user-friendly. Second, nonprofits need a way to take advantage of tax credits. And third, nonprofits need options to fund the remaining 85%, after Collective Sun has applied tax credits to reduce any installer's bid by 15%. Question 3, how does Collective Sun reduce any installer's bid by 15%? Well, Collective Sun is a for-profit business, and because we're buying the solar systems, we're able to monetize the 30% tax credits. We share half of those with the nonprofit, and Collective Sun keeps the other 15%. That's how we get paid. Let's quickly look at one example. Let's say an installer created a bid for a church, and the full cash purchase price is $500,000. By working with Collective Sun, the church gets to reduce the price by 15%, so they only have to pay $425,000, which saves the church $75,000. The church pays the $425,000 directly to the installer following construction milestone payments, with Collective Sun paying the installer the remaining 15%, allowing the installer to receive the full cash purchase price of $500,000. Now, after Collective Sun reduces any installer's bid by 15%, the next obvious question is, how does the nonprofit finance the remaining 85%? Collective Sun's primary mission is to help the 1.5 million nonprofits nationwide get solar. Now, we realize most nonprofits don't always have reserves robust enough to pay for the 85% deposit. So we allow nonprofits to choose any one or a combination of 5 options to fund the 85% deposit. The first of these 5 options are loans. Now, loans can come from a variety of sources, including any existing banking relationships. There are also program-related investments, or PRIs, that allow foundations to make socially aligned loans. Collective Sun also has relationships with nonprofit specialty lenders. If a project is over $250,000, these rates are usually between 4 to 7%. Option 2, donations. Option 3, PACE, which stands for Property Assessed Clean Energy. Now, PACE loans are repaid as an assessment on the nonprofit's property tax. They require a lien on the property, and rates are usually around 7 to 8% plus fees. Option 4, reserves, money in the bank or cash in hand. And option 5, crowd lending, which is a direct loan from the supporters of the nonprofit to the nonprofit itself. It's important to quickly mention Collective Sun does not accept any kickbacks or receive any referral fees for helping nonprofits find installers or for helping nonprofits learn about financing options. Let's look a little more closely at option number 5 and answer the question, what is Collective Sun's proprietary crowdlending platform? You may have heard the term crowdfunding before, but that's just a fancy word for donations, whereby supporters are asked to give money in support of a cause. But crowdfunding donations are not returned to the supporters. Crowdlending campaigns, on the other hand, allow nonprofit leaders to offer an investment opportunity to their supporters that does pay principal back and with interest. Interest rates can be whatever the nonprofit wants them to be, between 0 and 8%, and likewise with terms. Our basic goal is to structure a loan payment that is lower than what the nonprofit is currently paying to the utility company. Let's look at one quick example. Let's say a school is paying the utility company $100,000 a year for energy. Our goal is to swap out these never-ending utility payments with loan repayments that are less than what the school is currently paying. In this example, we would suggest an interest rate and term, so the loan repayments would be around $90,000 a year instead of $100,000, which is an instant saving of $10,000 a year. Now, the best part is once the loan is paid off, there are no more payments. The school is enjoying free energy. But if the school didn't get solar, not only are they going to continue paying $100,000 year after year after year, but when the utility rates increase, so too will their utility bills. Collective Sun understands all nonprofits are unique, which is why each and every crowdlending campaign is unique. To oversee and make sure each campaign is successful, Collective Sun assigns a dedicated campaign manager to each project. Now, these campaign managers prepare customized campaign playbooks with step-by-step instructions specific to each nonprofit's needs. Managers meet with the nonprofit to review progress and provide ongoing tips, tools, and support throughout the entire campaign. Question number 4, what is Collective Sun's step-by-step process? If the installer has a project over 50 kW, Collective Sun offers a link to an online form where the installer can create a solar power agreement, or SPA for short. And I'll explain more about SPAs in a minute. Now, after the installer creates an SPA, it's offered to the nonprofit along with the installer's bid. The installer informs the nonprofit they can either pay 100% or they can work with Collective Sun and pay only 85%. If the nonprofit decides they'd rather pay only 85%, then they sign the SPA. After Collective Sun receives the signed SPA, we perform a third-party engineering review and a basic financial review of the nonprofit prior to countersigning the SPA. During this time, the EPC agreement is issued and signed by the installer. Supporting documents are filled out by the installer and the nonprofit provides Collective Sun notification they have the 85% deposit. Only after these steps have been completed will a notice to proceed be issued to the installer so construction can begin. The timeline from receipt of signed documents to NTP is at most 30 days. Now, with regards to how the installer gets paid, the nonprofit pays the installer the first 85% following basic construction milestone payments, with Collective Sun paying the installer the last 15% after the commission report is accepted. So today's last question, what is Collective Sun's SPA? Well, about a year ago, Collective Sun saw the writing on the wall with regards to the new tax laws, so we created the SPA, and Collective Sun is the only company that offers SPAs. An SPA is an agreement between Collective Sun and a nonprofit. More specific, SPAs are a performance-based lease with a deposit feature, and because they are a lease and not a PPA, SPAs are compliant within all utility service territories that allow leases, even in areas that do not allow PPAs. This is particularly exciting because SPAs allow Collective Sun to operate anywhere leases are allowed. A question we often receive is, when will the nonprofit own the system, and why does Collective Sun have to own it for the first 6 years? Well, the answer has to do with IRS tax requirements that we must follow in order to remain compliant. If Collective Sun didn't own the system for the first 6 years, we could not apply tax credits to reduce the installer's bid by 15%. So at the end of the 6th year, the nonprofit can take ownership of the solar system. In this slide, I'm going to offer a couple quick suggestions I believe can help any installer generate more revenue. Now, I look at several installer websites every single day, and most only list commercial and/or residential. If you do not have a tab specific to nonprofits on your website, every time a nonprofit Googles solar for nonprofits in your area, your company is not appearing in their search. Now, just think about all the potential business you've been missing out on. One simple and inexpensive way to fix this is to add a nonprofit tab populated with SEO-specific language to the nonprofit sector. Adding a nonprofit tab creates a new marketing tier, a new revenue stream for your company. Now, within the nonprofit tab, you can also add information about Creation Care that offers religious leaders a theological justification for all houses of worship to go solar. And if you want a copy of this nonprofit-specific SEO language, contact me after this presentation. So that's pretty much the end of the presentation, Tracy. I'll pass it back to you.
Alrighty, thank you, Todd. I am going to pass things over to Scott. He's going to take over here. Let me give him control. All right. Scott, are you good over there?
Yeah, I'm just sharing my screen right now. So
Alrighty.
All right. Well, thank you, Tracy. Hello, everyone. My name is Scott D'Ambrosio. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Integrations for Energy Toolbase. I'd like to start off by thanking everyone on the line for joining us on this co-hosted webinar. We understand you have busy schedules, and we truly appreciate your time. I'd also like to thank Collective Sun for co-hosting this webinar, and a special thanks to Todd, who did a phenomenal job in describing who Collective Sun is, what is unique about their financing offering, and how they fit into scenarios within the industry. As I look through this attendees list, I noticed there's plenty of you who are current Energy Toolbase users who are familiar with our platform. I just want to let you know how much we appreciate the opportunity to work with you, and we appreciate your business. Thank you. For those of you not familiar with Energy Toolbase, I'm going to take a second and summarize who we are. We are a third-party, cloud-based proposal platform that specializes in the economics behind alternative energy deals. Our software is transparent, objective, and accurate. We thrive in complexity, but present it simply to our user base, who range from developers, EPCs, policy organizations, financiers, or anybody else who would see the value in understanding accurate avoided costs on behind-the-meter solar, storage, or hybrid projects. We currently operate in all 50 states. We're gearing up for a huge international push later this year. The goal of this webinar for me is to be able to express the importance of understanding your client's objective and being able to pair that with the appropriate financing options. Energy Toolbase's portion of this webinar is going to show you our flexibility of being able to model and customize financing options to fit your customers' needs. It all comes down to avoided costs versus financing payments being in the black. Collective Sun has done a great job in developing unique financing tailored to the nonprofit market. Understanding the financial offerings from specific companies will empower you as a developer to help pair the correct financing options to the needs of your client. I hope you walk away from this demo not shying away from opportunities because they don't pencil, but exploring what is the correct financing options to achieve your client's objective. With my remaining time left on this webinar, I'm going to fly through a very quick demonstration of our platform. This is Energy Toolbase's main landing page of the platform. This is called our dashboard. In the middle of the screen, you'll see recent proposals I'm currently working on. Above that, you'll see the ability to drop leads within different buckets. We have lightweight CRM functionalities built in. Above that, you'll see a couple tabs that allow you to easily navigate through our platform. You'll see the dashboard button right here. This brings you back to this main screen. Next to that, you'll see a create button that allows you to jump right in and to start creating leads, proposals, incentives, rate schedules, transactions, documents, all from scratch. The view tab to the right of that allows you to view the constructions of these same categories and even copy and edit. So for example, maybe you want to view one of our 30,000 rates in our database, see the construction of the rate, and edit how you see fit. To the right here, you'll see quick links. This gets you right into our wonderful help center where there's tons of knowledge-based content, frequently asked questions, video tutorials about numerous different subjects, resource guides, and tons of other information our user base finds extremely helpful. Underneath that, you'll notice trainings and webinars. This is where we provide ongoing education for our user base where they can sign up about different subjects. Below that, you'll see our Twitter feed. What's new with Energy Toolbase, keeping you up to date. All right, I'm going to jump into a pre-existing lead here. Creating a lead is simple information. Basic information about the client, the company name, name of the client, phone number, email address. Not going to spend too much time right here. To the right, you'll notice facilities. And facilities right here represent meters to us. We do have the capability of creating multi-meter analysis and building one beautiful comprehensive proposal. Under each facility, we go ahead and recreate your client's energy bill. Our wording for that is add energy use profile. We have different options to recreate your client's energy bill. I'm going to work left to right here. The first option is monthly electric bills. This is hard bills you collect from the client or a third party, and all you're doing is transferring the information on the bill right within Energy Toolbase. In the middle of the screen, you'll see two options, spreadsheet interval data and green button data. Both are referring to interval data. If you're not familiar what interval data is, it's a granular look on how your client uses energy. We accept multi-column, single-column interval data spreadsheets, as well as XML CSV green button format. You can get this data from your utility, from your client, or a third party. Talking about third parties, you'll notice our fourth option here, which is Utility API. Utility API is a company completely outside of us, but we have a direct integration with them. Their business model is really a data fetching service that makes it simple to access interval data for your client, and we directly import that into our platform. All right, I'm going to demo bringing in XML green button data really quick. So as I go through here, we're going to choose our green button data. We're going to choose the file we downloaded from the utility. We're going to hit open. We're going to hit import. We're reading that file right now. And the first thing that's going to pop up here is a profile name. So I'm going to call this XML. The next thing you're going to see is a drop down of all the utilities we have in our database based on this zip code of the client. So these are all California utilities. One thing that makes Energy Toolbase unique is we have an in-house utility team of 8 full-time employees mining utility data to make sure we have the most up-to-date accurate rates in the market. If you ever don't see a utility or rate schedule you're looking for, all you have to do is make us aware, send us a copy of the bill, 24 to 48 hour turnaround. It's in our system. Once it's in our system, we maintain it forever. We are user driven. So I'm going to choose the utility here. And I'm going to choose the rate schedule, just choosing San Diego Gas and Electric. And I'm going to choose a common commercial rate schedule from that utility. Once I choose that rate schedule, we're reading that XML data and we're recreating your client's energy bill just like that. This particular rate schedule has an on and off and a super off-peak time of use for energy. It also has a max demand and an on-peak demand. To the right there, you'll notice other charges. Other charges are non-volumetric charges, metering charges, different things like that. To the right here, you'll notice MVCs, non-bypassable charges, energy charges, demand charges to get a total for the month, and after 12 months, we get an annual total as well. One thing you'll notice about Energy Toolbase is transparency. So as you go through here, you could see effective date. An effective date to us is letting you know the last time there was a tariff change on this rate schedule. So we're using the most current one, 1/1/2018. You're more than welcome to view or use historical tariff as well. We also give you the ability to look behind the curtain. So as we hit show rate schedule details, we actually give you general information, which is a summary about this rate schedule. We break down the seasons and time periods for you. We break down the fixed charges. We break down the energy charges, so on and so on. So here's the demand charges. If there's any special programming, we would list that as well. All right, so we just brought in interval data. There could be sub-attributes to a rate schedule to the right here. I'm not going to go over these, but sub-attributes could affect your charges, so just double check those. All right, so we just brought in XML interval data. The other option I want to talk about is bringing in monthly data. So I'm going back to our options here where we're selecting what type of data we have. I'm just going to choose monthly electric bills. So as we go through here, when you choose monthly electric bills, you're literally going right off the bill and you're transferring. What is the on-peak on the bill? What is the off-peak on the bill? What is the super off-peak on the bill? What is the max demand? What is the on-peak demand? And you can see what happens is we start recreating that bill monthly, and once we drop in 12 months, we do it annually as well. One key feature here at Energy Toolbase is even though you give us monthly data, we actually convert that into interval data for you. That's an important feature so we can accurately account for any rate switching, metering rules, or your ability to add energy storage strategy. All right, so I'm gonna jump back out of here for a second. And now we're gonna talk about, before I do that, I do wanna show you one other key feature I did skip over for a second, is show seasonal load profiles. So we have this rate schedule in here, and I just want to show you, what does it look like? This is that interval data set, and we're showing you the seasonal load profiles. And you can see for every 15 minutes how your client is using energy. Now we have a church here, right? Look what happens on the weekends. We have those huge spikes for service. So it's just a key feature here of Energy Toolbase. Very helpful, understanding visually how your client uses energy. All right, so once we recreate your client's energy bill, we're going to create a beautiful proposal. So we're going to walk you through a 7-step progression to be able to do that. Step 1 is general information, proposal name, tax treatment. We do have the flexibility to show before or after tax. In the middle of the screen, you'll see select facilities. So AKA, what meters do I want to include? What sector is this client? So we have the options of residential, commercial, municipal, nonprofit. Are they taxable? Obviously non-taxable, nonprofit. What is the discount rate I want to use for net present value? And what is the electricity escalation you want to assume? Next, you'll see utility rates. This is our ability to do rate switch analysis, going from one rate schedule to another and seeing the impact on that. Is our client more advantageous to switch rate schedules? So in this example here, I got a common commercial rate schedule from San Diego Gas and Electric, which is the ALTOU. But I want to take a look at, does it make sense to switch rate schedules? So I'm going to compare this with DGR. Step 2, your ability to do rate switch analysis. Step 3 is incentives. We're dealing with a nonprofit here, so we have no incentives. When you get to step 4, for the first time, we're going to ask you, hey, what type of solar production data do you want to use? We have a direct integration with those guys at Helioscope. We have a direct API with PV Watts. But we also consider ourselves Switzerland. Any major solar production calculator produces 8760, and we give you that option right here to the right just to drop that into us. Just for time's sake here, I'm going to hop into PV Watts right now, and I'm going to do a detailed PV array. I'm not going to spend too much time here. I want to talk about financing as much as possible, but I do want to show you the key feature of ETB Optimizer. So what we do by clicking this button, maybe you know your system size, maybe you want a little help identifying what is the correct sweet spot. So as you hit this optimizer, we have 6 different graphs here. I'm going to go ahead and talk about this one that's total electrical savings on the bottom right. You have savings in dollars to the left, and you have system size in kW on the bottom. We're running this against both rate schedules, the ALTUU comparable to the DGR. Each plot point is a 10% offset, so I could identify if I want to offset 100% of their annual usage, I need a 56.4 kW. Once I select there, it actually automatically quantifies the panels and the number of panels and inverters I need to achieve that system size. So I'm just going to go ahead, hit save here, keep moving. Step 5 is energy storage. When you come here for the first time, I'm not going to spend too much time here. Just so you know, you could create proposals, just solar, just storage, or a hybrid of both. Transactions. All right. So when you come here for the first time, I'm going to go ahead and just delete this transaction on the bottom. The first time you go into transactions in your account, you'll just have a cash, a lease, a loan, and a PPA. Energy Toolbase has the flexibility to help you customize financing options to match who you're actually using within the field. So in this example here, we're going to go ahead and show what a typical cash purchase looks like. So we have Collective Sons SPA right next to a traditional cash purchase. We have a traditional PACE financing, and guess what? I'm going to add the crowd lending loan option next to that one. So it's so powerful bringing options to the table for your client. So we're going to present 4 different financing options in our next document here, which is our proposal. When we hit add documents, one thing we know is you're not going to show the same document to every customer. You're not going to show a residential document to a commercial, vice versa. So we allow you to select and choose how you want to present that information. You can fully customize these documents as well. I'm going to go ahead, hit save. Now let's take a look and view this document. So you'll see a cover page here. Once again, these are customizable. So we just created kind of a mock cover page here. You could add pages. So here's a page about Collective Sun, but really here's the power. Project summary is the first thing you come to. It is a financial highlight, side-by-side analysis about the financing options that you're offering. So you could see Collective Sun's SPA. You could see the upfront cost next to the traditional cash purchase. You could see the PACE financing payments against the crowd lending loan option. You could see the terms, and if you're looking for financial ratios to lean on, look at the net present values, all comparable next to each other. It's just so powerful bringing these options to the table. As we walk through a document, next thing you come to is PV system details. So a little bit what panels and inverters we're using, what is the cost of my system minus any incentives, what is my solar system rating. We have a month-by-month breakdown of usage to solar production. Underneath here, you'll see utility rates. We call this the meat and potatoes of the proposal. I'm just going to zoom in here for a second. This is our client's energy bill. We recreated it. They're currently paying $42,199 on the year. And we said, hey, what happens if they stay after project on the same rate schedule? We're able to get their bill down to $29,591. But you know what? We considered a rate switch here. And look how much savings. $13,909 for a total avoided cost here of $28,290 on the year. So we have all this huge savings. How are we going to finance it? So you can see the next thing we show is cash flows. So here is our SPA option. You can see payback period is 4.8 years. Next to a traditional cash purchase, 5.6 years. Next to a traditional PACE financing over a 20-year period, they are cash flow positive year 1. But you know what? The crowd lending option, the crowd lending loan option, right here, look at that option. It's only a 10-year loan. So in conclusion, I know I moved very quick through the platform. I only had a certain amount of time. I really just wanted to express Energy Toolbase's capability to help you customize transactions to really achieve your client's objective. I'd just like to thank everybody for joining us here today. And if you have any questions, I'm sure we're going to open it up right now. And I'll pass it back to Tracy.
Thanks, Scott. I'm going to stay on here quick just to maybe if you wanted to answer the question while you still have control here. There was one that said, how do you add the Collective Sun transactions into an Energy Toolbase account?
So every Energy Toolbase user has a dedicated account manager to the platform. So all you have to do is just talk to your dedicated account manager. You could easily find that information right under here. So you could just check this out here and you could see who your account manager is. Just shoot them a little quick email and just say, hey, can you drop the Collective Sun transactions in my account? Easy, simple, and that's all you have to do.
Alrighty, I'm going to take back control here. And All right, we had a couple questions come in. I am going to go. All right, so the first one I had was for Todd. What are the minimum project sizes in either system size or dollar amount?
Okay, yeah, great. So we worked really hard to keep this as low as possible. So right now we have it at 50 kW, and that kind of translates into a cash purchase price value. We want to see projects no lower than about $150,000. So 50 kW or about 150,000 cash would be great. That's our minimum. Is there something else on that one, Tracy? Did I miss something?
Nope, you're good. That was the question. This one is for
Okay.
Scott. Are all these collective Sun I think you kind of answered this though. Are all the collective Sun transactions options available to all Energy Toolbase users?
By request. Just contact your dedicated account manager and we'll drop those into your account by request.
Alrighty. Let me go to, this one is for Todd. Can collective Sun finance projects on leased land?
I'll let Matt answer that one.
Sure, it depends on how long the lease is. A long-term lease will work.
Okay. Let's see. Let me flip through these here. Todd, this one is for, or Todd or Matt, this one's for you. Does collective Sun monetize depreciation benefits?
Yes.
Okay, let me see. They're all coming in at once now. All right. Todd, for collective Sun SPA, can a PACE loan be used for the upfront payment? And if so, how is it implemented?
Yeah, well, PACE is just one of the options that we allow for the remaining 85%. So let's just kind of step back real quick. So if a project, let's say it were to cost $200,000, Collective Sun, by working with Collective Sun, we apply that 15% discount. So now it reduces it by $30,000. So the nonprofit only has to come up with $170,000. So the question is can PACE be used to pay for that 85%? And yes, it can be, but it's just one of the 5 options that we allow. But yes, PACE can be used.
Okay, let's see here. Scott, this one's kind of just a basic question, but when Energy Toolbase goes international, will it be open in Mexico? And how does Energy Toolbase deal with the deregulated market within the platform?
Sorry, I was on mute there. Great question, whoever asked that. Just so you know, we do absolutely handle deregulated markets. When we go international, we will absolutely go to Mexico. Once again, we're going to treat our utility team just like the way we do in the States. If there's a certain rate schedule or utility not listed in a country, all you got to do is send us a copy of the bill and we'll upload for you. Turnaround time might be a little bit longer with international depending on language barriers, but just talking about how we handle the deregulated market. So with deregulated market in states right now, like Illinois and Texas, tons of deregulation. All you have to do is send us a copy of the 12-month bills. Unfortunately, there isn't a global database because a portion of that deregulated market is negotiated charges. So send us a copy of the 12-month bills and we'll go ahead and upload that custom rate schedule in your account and your account only.
Alrighty, I'm going to stick with you, Scott. This one is for you again. Can users that are using Energy Toolbase, can they customize their own financing options and then make their own templates?
Absolutely. You have all that flexibility within Energy Toolbase. So right within our platform, you could customize anything from your own incentives, rate schedules, or transactions and documents.
Alrighty, I'm trying to keep up with all these. Todd and Matt, can Collective Sun be used if the project is under a C-Corp?
Yes. Yeah, so we can use, this can be used for for-profits as well. Our focus is on nonprofit, stopping for-profits. Yep.
I'll stick with you guys again. Can Collective Sun, would Collective Sun financing include solar plus storage or just solar?
It does include storage. We just completed one last month.
Okay.
And I'd like to also add on that real quickly, Tracy, if I could. We can also help with the payments of a roof. In other words, if a nonprofit, the roof's in bad shape, like a lot of buildings are, they have to do the roof as well in addition to the solar panel. We can actually apply a portion of the cost to a new roof. We can reduce it by the 15% as well. If you go to our website, collectivesun.com, look at the FAQs. I think it's down number 70, but I'm not sure. But anyways, we can help with a new roof in addition to the solar panels.
Alrighty, and I will stick with you guys again. These are all coming as I go, but can you expand a little more on the monetization of depreciation incentives, and would it be in addition to the 30% ITC?
It's not in addition to the 15%. So we do monetize it, and the entire discount we pass through is 15%.
Okay. Here's one. If if we run proposals with Collective Sun and it signs, will Collective Sun take the lead with the financing paperwork and the communication with the property owner?
Yes, we will onboard them.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
I mean, Tracy, our basic role is to act as a coupon, right? We just want to help all the nonprofits save the project by 15%. But, we're also here to hold their hands. We want to make sure that the project gets done. And that's making sure they have everything they need. So, yeah, we definitely can help. Like, for example, if a nonprofit wanted to use a bank loan, but the bank themselves didn't know about our SPA, it's not that a bank will not use our SPA, it's just that they're not familiar with it. So what we'll ask the nonprofit to do is put us in touch with the bank, let us kind of hold their hand as well and just educate them and let them see, how it works.
Okay. Here's one for Scott. If we want to try out Energy Toolbase just to see if it would work for our project, how do we go about that?
Thank you, Tracy. Great question. So easily enough, on energytoolbase.com, just start a free trial. With the free trial, there's no handcuffs. You get a dedicated account manager. You have access to all our capabilities. And if you sign up today for a free trial, just mention you were on this webinar, say demo, say Collective Sun. I'll go ahead and add an additional 2 weeks onto your free trial for taking time out of your day to join us.
Alrighty, still scrolling. Todd, this one's for you. Does the customer have to own the property that the project is on?
No. Well, no, but it has to have at least a long-term lease arrangement.
Okay. And here's just a kind of simple one to know more about y'all. How many nonprofit deals has Collective Sun financed to date?
We've done in tax equity deals, many megawatts.
Okay, let's see. Was it utility rebates? I'm trying to get through all these. What's the turnaround for, Todd, this one's for you. What's the turnaround for an installer to get paid for the project?
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, so there really is no turnaround time. Basically, once all those documents that I was referring to, once the SPA signed, the documents are all received by Collective Sun. Once the project is moving forward, then the nonprofit itself is paying the installer the first 85%. So nothing really changes. The nonprofit pays the installer the first 85% following construction milestone payments. It's just at the end, after they pay the 85%, after the commission report has been received, that Collective Sun pays the installer the last 15%.
Okay. Let's keep going. Let's see. Okay. Todd and Matt, what is the process of getting a potential client in touch with Collective Sun? Is there a standard procedure? Is it more case by case?
No, there's no case by case. They can go to our website. They can Google us, learn more. There's a contact us form. There's a phone number on there. We're pretty easy to access. Just give me a call. We'll chat.
Alrighty. Okay, Todd and Matt again. How do you handle utility rebates and/or outside grants for specific nonprofits that have them?
Typically, all incentives go to the nonprofit.
Okay.
SRECs, rebates, they all go to the nonprofit.
Okay. Scott, this one's for you. What compatibility does Energy Toolbase have with cooperatives and utilities with limited or no net metering? Is the net metering portion a part of the rate schedule that our team works on?
Yeah. So in Energy Toolbase, when you're recreating your client's energy bill, we have a tab called metering. You can select the metering, the default metering based on the utility, but you as the user select the correct metering for that utility. So we have the flexibility of selecting full retail net metering, retail with non-bypassable charges, MVCs, or you could set a fixed rate. So on every 15-minute increment, you're going to define what that value is. Could be 0, could be 3 cents. So we have a very dynamic back end to be able to calculate accurately what those metering rules look like.
Okay. Todd and Matt, can Collective Sun combine crowd lending and crowdfunding into a single project?
The short answer is yes, but just let's get clear about the definition of those two things. So crowdfunding is just a fancy word for donations, right? So if somebody wants to crowdfund something, they're just giving their money. Now, let's say a church has a project, it's a large project, and let's say it's $300,000. They have $100,000 in the bank they want to use, but they are obviously they need an extra $200,000. So they could use our crowd lending model to raise the other $200,000. And remember what that is it allows the nonprofit leaders to go to their supporters and ask for an investment opportunity, offer an investment opportunity versus, hey, give me your money. He now can say, hey, I need the $200,000. Will you loan it to me? So Bob would kind of raise his hand. Yeah, I'd like to invest $1,000. So Bob gets his $1,000 back plus whatever interest rate the nonprofit attaches to that project. So it's just crowd lending models are a really unique way for nonprofits to raise the extra money they might not have in the reserves. But I'm sorry, that was a long-winded answer. Yes, it can be combined. So they can use the $100,000 and crowd lend for the remaining $200,000.
Alrighty, and I know that Todd, you kind of went over this in the beginning, but if people didn't see it before, who owns the system when they're using Collective Sun financing?
Right. So Collective Sun, we're going to own the system for the first 6 years, and that's an IRS tax requirement, so we can take advantage of this tax credit. At the end of the 6 years, we transfer ownership of the system to the nonprofit along with all the extended warranties. So eventually, the nonprofit will own it, and there is no buyout payment at the end. There's no fair market value assessment or anything. They will take ownership of the system.
Alrighty, I think we got a couple more here that I'm trying to get through. Let's see. What is the financing charge when going through Collective Sun?
Financing charge, there is no financing charge. We're your big and friendly coupon. That's it. We don't charge anybody to use our 15% coupon. We're here just to help. There's 1.5 million nonprofits, and I have a small goal. I want to help them all get solar. So no, we don't. Again, the fees are the 30% ITC tax credits we share with the nonprofit, right? So they get the 15%, and how we get paid is the other 15%. So there are no additional fees on top of that. If they want to use my crowd lending platform to raise those funds, then there are fees associated with that, and I can offer a document explaining what those fees are if they contact me.
Alrighty, I think I have gotten to almost all the questions. I'm not sure if there's anything else, Scott or Todd, you guys wanted to add?
Other than I just think it's wonderful that Energy Toolbase has brought us on board and included us in their platform. Every time Scott shows me how it works, it's just amazing to me, the simplicity and it's just amazing to me. So I'm just really honored to be involved with the Energy Toolbase.
Thank you, Todd. I really appreciate that, and this has been a pleasure. So anybody who's not using Energy Toolbase, they're free trials, guys. Give us a shot, see if we could increase your close ratio by using our accurate platform. So I think all we're looking for is an opportunity to work with you.
Great. So like I said, for you guys still listening, we're going to have this link sent to y'all just a little bit after this webinar, but we appreciate you guys joining us. And if you have any questions, Scott and Todd's contact info is on the screen here. So just contact them if you guys have any questions, but thanks for being here.
Thank you.